snap.
And I am Iron Man.
Hi everybody, welcome to Super Married Couple. I'm Shay.
I'm the legendary Rue.
And today we're doing a review of Toy Story 4
by Disney Pixar.
I like how the beginning of the movie with the Pixar credit with the lamp, how they made it fresh and tied into the movie, like how Universal does and
DreamWorks.
Yeah, I like that transition. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. It's your normal Pixar entry, but like eventually the light cuts off. You see the lamp, or the light in the lamp, and then it starts thundering, and then rain falls, and you can actually hear the raindrops hit the lamp, which is a nice touch to detail. And then we go into the film, which is nine years before the events of the film, and you find out what actually happened to Bo. What happens to Bo isn't what I thought would have happened to Bo, given to how they mentioned her in the second one, because it made it seem like she was a lost toy, or like something tragic happened to her. And it wasn't like, it didn't give you any indication that she was just given away.
I mean, that's tragic for them.
It is tragic for them to have lost a friend, but I thought like she was broken, or she was just gone forever. But that wasn't the case, thank goodness. Because Woody without his lover is just...
2 movies?
Yeah, 2 movies. 2 movies.
Before Bo was given away, there's a rescue mission in the storm. They're trying to rescue RC.
Yep.
He's in a storage train.
Yep. During the storm, so he had a hard time getting grip. So they did Operation Pool Toy, which involves...
Yeah, we saw it in the... Was it the first one?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was the first one.
I think in that one they
used...
Yeah, it was with Slink, but...
They used, the soldiers, right? Wasn't it the soldiers?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're thinking about 2 different Operation Pool. I was thinking about in the back of the truck. Is that the one you're thinking about? They did something similar with Slink in that one.
Oh yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen that scene, then it's basically the same thing. But the only difference is they added Jessie to the operation a little bit. She actually gets on top of a window and let the window open, so you can open the window and get out there to actually help and save RC. When I saw that scene, I really was afraid for RC, because we do not see RC anymore during the second or the third film. So I thought that was actually like going to explain what happened to him. But you still don't know what happened to RC.
He's just there in the background, I assume. Because you don't see him anymore.
No. I mean, once they rescue him, that's just it.
Yeah, because you don't see him. Did you see him there?
No, RC was not in the third one.
Okay, we don't know what happened to him, but he's not dead.
Yeah, that is true.
He's
not dead or broken. We found out that Woody actually got a chance to say goodbye to Bo, but he was still hurt that she's gone.
Yeah, he was going to leave with her, which I thought was cool. That they're not flat characters. And Woody had a whole relationship
It was an
But
unspoken thing between the two of them.
I mean, it's still a relationship.
Yeah, somewhat. They were never official.
I didn't say they were in a romantic relationship.
You're right. Go ahead.
But yeah, he was gonna go, but then Andy came outside in the rain looking for him, and he knew that his job wasn't done, so he didn't go, and he said his goodbyes.
After that, it goes straight into the present day, where you find that they're all waiting in the closet, waiting to be played with by Bonnie.
Yeah, because her mom cleaned her room, and when she cleans her room, she puts all the toys in the closet.
Right. And this is where you find out that everybody is having their playtime with Bonnie except for Woody, who's been dismissed for what, 3 weeks, wasn't it?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't get picked for playtime for 3 days in a row, and he was still in the closet because Bonnie came in and she pulled all the toys out to play, but she left him in the closet and a couple other toys, and he had a dust bunny on, and they were like, "Oh, you got your first dust bunny. What are you gonna name it?" I mean, it was funny but kind of sad.
Yeah. She actually gave him a small bit of hope because she picked him up, but that was to take the sheriff badge off of him and put it on the Jesse.
Yeah, that was
really messed up.
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
After that, you find out that Bonnie's about to start kindergarten, and she wants to take a toy with her. She had Jessie in her hand. She wanted to take Jessie with her, but her dad said no, because usually at school, if you bring something there that shouldn't be there, it gets confiscated, which Rex didn't know what that meant. That was pretty funny.
But they explained that in the movie.
Yeah, they
all
explained
the
it.
toys. Because her dad explained to her that you can't bring toys to school.
Right. So they have a whole conversation about what's best for Bonnie, taking a toy, not to take a toy.
So Bonnie going to school, terrified.
Yeah.
And also Woody, being in the closet, he feels some kind of way about it. Because he's always had a job. He's always been the favorite toy. And he's trying to come to grips with not being a favorite toy and missing Andy.
So him and I forgot her name. What's the name of that toy? The one with the purple hair.
With
the doll. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Does anybody know her name?
They said it. I just don't remember.
I'm pretty sure somebody knows her name. But her and Woody have a back and forth about a toy going with Bonnie to school. So when Bonnie comes back to get her backpack, what Woody does is he sneaks into it to make sure that she has a good first day.
He wants to be the favorite toy, or if not the favorite toy, just make her happy. So when she goes to school, she sits by herself. One kid comes up, but the kid doesn't even speak to her. He just takes all her craft supplies and leaves, and then he throws his apple away, and in doing that, he throws away some of the craft supplies, and she cries. And while she's crying, Woody sneaks out of her backpack and goes and gets the crayons and other art supplies, and he throws them at her, but she doesn't see him, and she picks up the crayons, and while she picks up the crayons, he picks up other art supplies and puts them on the table. So she'd have some, and that's when she makes her new best friend.
And Forky was born. Once Woody does that, her whole day just gets better. And it really proved what he was saying the whole time about having a toy there to be a companion through your most feared times. So the day is over. She completes kindergarten, as she says.
It's not completing kindergarten. It's not even her first day.
Right, it was just orientation.
It was
but
her.
She was like,
yeah, it was her.
I completed it. I conquered it.
Yeah, it was actually a week before school started.
Right. So she goes back home, and Woody greets them, and the toy whose name we forgot is very upset.
The lead toy.
It's
a doll.
The leader of the room was very upset with Woody about leaving or sneaking into her backpack. But he tells her that everything's fine because it made her day better, which is pretty much Woody's goal throughout this entire movie, was to make sure that she was happy.
Right.
And he shows off Forky, which, it's in the trailer.
Yeah, he introduces Forky to the other toys.
And he just wanted to go to the trash. That's all he wanted to do, because he just figured that was his next boy, was just trash. So every time he saw a trash can, that's where he wanted to go.
You would run for the trash anyway.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes. And every time he would go into a trash, Woody would be right behind him to pick him right back out, because...
Or stop him from going into
the
trash.
Or stop him from going into the trash.
And there's one scene where Bonnie, the little girl, she sleeps with Forky, or attempts to anyway, and Forky keeps jumping in the trash, so Woody spends the whole night in the trash can throwing Forky back on the bed. And later on in the movie, that becomes his job. Because at this point, he realizes that he's not going to be Bonnie's favorite toy. But he knows Forky is
her favorite
toy. So he makes it his job to make sure Forky stays alive. After Bonnie completes kindergarten, they say, before school started, we're going to go on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes on this road trip, and the whole time Forky he'll run out and try to jump in the trash, and Woody will have to catch him.
Unfortunate for Forky, he's part fork, so he was stuck in the ground. And he couldn't really get away like he thought he was going to. So Woody pulls him out of the ground and starts walking casually.
And he explains to him why he's important to Bonnie. And he asks him why he likes the trash. And he explains to him that it's comfortable and it's warm and cuddly. And he explains to him that that's what you are to Bonnie. So then it's kind of like a light bulb goes off. And
I get it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm Bonnie's trash.
Then
you never see him so eager to get back to Bonnie.
Yeah, it's like a switch goes off.
Yeah. So Woody finally gets Forky to do it. He's been trying to get him to do the whole time, which is get back to Bonnie.
There's a second-hand shop across the street from the carnival.
So Forky's halfway towards across the road.
He's across the road booking it, trying to get to Bonnie.
They go in and they look around and they don't see her. But just when they're about to leave, That's when the ventriloquist dummies come in. And
They're so creepy.
Boy, do they make an impact in this movie. The horror factor definitely came from Gabby and her goons.
Better. That's exactly who. It was like the mob.
This is true. And she was the head honcho.
It was so creepy because it was one that would push her in this stroller. And Gabby was a toy from the 50s, but she was defective. So
out the box.
And she was always looking for toys with voice boxes to see if she could, because she was trying to steal their voice boxes so she could get a kid.
Most of the other toys, even if they're like doll based, they have stuffing in them. So that gives them the ability to have some type of structure. But with a ventriloquist dummy, there is nothing there because your hand is supposed to go in there. So they really have no support whatsoever. So good job, Pixar, on that. Also,
real creepy.
Also, I want to give them props for Gabby's eyes. I don't know if you go see the movie, pay attention to her eyes, because if you take a 50s doll like Gabby and you turn it upside down or lay it down, its eyes close. And when you pick it up, its eyes open. So her eyes were really loose, and I do appreciate that attention to detail.
Yeah, I had a doll like that when I was little.
I never had one, but
Why would you have a baby doll?
Well, I'm just saying, even though I have knowledge of it, I never had one.
Why would you have? I mean, do you or whatever, but we were raised in the 90s, and it was different.
Just saying.
Gender norms are different.
Just saying.
You want a baby doll?
No.
You want me to get you a baby doll?
I have amiibos and pop figures.
I'll get you a baby doll with her eyes rolled back.
I don't need that. I
don't
need that type of creep factor. I
don't need an
American Girl doll up in this place. I am fine. Or a buddy. Those things are creepy.
The ones that look just like you? I always wanted one.
Those things are creepy. Back to the story.
Anyway. Anyway, they were creepy. And when the toys would talk to the ventriloquist dummies, I don't remember their names. They all had names.
This is true, they did have names.
Instead of him turning his head, he just let his head go back. So the back of his head was touching his back, and he would just open his mouth, but the dummies couldn't talk. All the other toys could. But you would think if it's a dummy, it's still a toy, and all the other toys have voices. Even if they don't have voice boxes, then this would be the time where they can talk for themselves.
Which is funny because they make grunts, they make noises.
But they don't.
And one actually whispers to Gabby later on in the movie, but they don't
talk.
They don't have lines.
They don't
at
talk.
all.
Which is weird, but that's the point.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
And they play into that later in the movie, which is, it's great. He loses Forky.
Mm-hmm.
Forky
was a hostage.
But he didn't know he was a hostage?
Right. And he
talks too much. He spilled all the beans.
But it wasn't his fault. He didn't know.
He didn't know. He was only 2 days old. Like he said.
Yes.
He tells Gabby that he's known Woody his whole life, which has only been 2 days. So he doesn't know. Yeah.
But Woody makes his way out to go. Where is he going? When he escaped? No, in order to escape Gabby and her ventriloquist goons, he lays in the middle of the shop and pulls his pull string.
Yeah,
which
and
catches the attention of Harmony, which is a little girl that Gabby has had her eyes on for a good little while, wanted her to be her kid.
also, what's her name? Melanie? Melody?
Ooh.
The little girl. What's her name?
Harmony.
Harmony is the is the granddaughter of the owner of the antique shop.
Yes. And Harmony's mother helps her mother run the shop.
Right.
He finds Bo by accident, actually, because Bo was one of those toys that was in the park. I don't know if she was actually looking for a child or it was just there to be played with by a child. And then
she escaped from the...
Yeah, she escaped from the antique shop, but it didn't really explain why that kid had her. The one that was on the
because she was just in the park, and that's where a kid just picked her up.
Okay, so a kid just picks up Bo and sees Woody and picks him up and starts playing with both of them.
Somebody asked her if they want to play with her somewhere else, and she goes, and so she puts them down, and leaves, and then that's where
Bo
they
just picks up a frisbee and just starts rolling around with it until they can get out of view of the kids. And in doing so, they were just so happy to see each other, and it was really one of those feel-good moments because you know that they were reunited, and it felt so good, no pun intended. But Combat Carl was in that one,
right? And
you see him in this one, and you're just so happy to see him because it's like, oh, I thought he was probably going to be one of those little one and done characters, but he's not. He's in this movie. It's actually 3 of them this time.
Yeah. One of them gets no love.
Yeah, one of them gets no love. And you also find out that Bo now has a guy in the chair. Well, it's actually a lady in the chair who is her eyes and ears of everywhere. And to only be about this tall.
Yeah, because she's like...
She is awesome.
Like, she's like one of those Polly Pocket toys.
That's what she is. And
I had one of those.
And she was awesome.
Yeah, I had 2 of those. Actually, when I was little, I had a Polly Pocket that was a book, and then I had one when Aladdin came out. They did one, so I had the Aladdin one. I mean, I don't have it now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Woody tells Bo that he has to go back into the antique shop to get Forky, who is very important to Bonnie. Off in the distance is Buzz Lightyear, who is actually trying to find Woody. And in doing so, he's actually trying to go back to the highway to find Woody. But Woody tells Buzz about this inner voice that he has. So Buzz is on this whole thing where if he presses one of his buttons and his voice box talks, that's his inner voice.
Yeah, he thinks Woody means that his voice box is his inner voice and not his conscious.
Right. Which is hilarious. So every time Buzz presses one of his buttons, it just so happens to be right. Bo is very surprised to see him. You know, she's like, oh, my old moving buddy. And it's another one of those feel-good moments. But at this point in time, they're about to get ready to go in, and then Buzz is bum rushed by Duck and Bunny, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key and director of Get Out and Us, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, they're funny.
They're really funny. Who he met earlier at a prize counter. And they thought that he was trying to cheat his way into getting a kid, but he already had a kid. So it was kind of weird. They have a plan to get in there. Bo tells Woody that she knows a guy on the inside that could actually help them get the mission accomplished. But in doing so of the mission, Woody, off pure instinct, just breaks from the plan because he sees Bonnie coming into the store. And
Woody has a problem following plans in this whole movie. They have plans every time, and he always goes left on every plan.
Well, that's because Woody is a man of instinct. He's never really been a man of plans. The only time Woody would actually follow a plan if this is his own. And sometimes even then he doesn't. If something goes awry, he feels like he has to make an adjustment on the fly. But in this case, he saw Bonnie. He was like, I gotta get Forky because there is my kid. Or our kid. So I gotta get him so we can get out. But all the whole time, Buzz has already found Bonnie's backpack, and they're gonna have to come back for that eventually.